The Young and the Restless. Spoilers. Shock. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today is a bright and beautiful day, and we have an absolute mountain of drama to unpack. Grab your coffee, your tea, or whatever gets you through the day, because we are diving deep into the absolute chaos happening in Genoa City. Let's get right into it. And honestly, you guys, I am still trying to wrap my head around what is happening with Nick Newman right now. Because, let's be real, this storyline has taken a turn that I don't think any of us fully prepared for. So we all know that Nick has been spiraling. He has been spiraling hard. We saw him hit absolute rock bottom in that dingy little motel room with Marie Kirkland. And just seeing Nick, the former golden boy of the Newman family, the guy who was always supposed to be the moral compass compared to his brother Adam, just completely losing himself to drugs. It has been rough to watch. It really has. But I guess we all hoped that after that horrible rock-bottom moment in the motel, things would start looking up. I mean, the user notes and the spoilers we are getting indicate that Nick is finally going to put his foot down. He is supposedly going to give his recovery everything he has got. He wants to get back to a normal life. He wants to be a father, a son, a functioning human being again. And that is great. That is what we all want for him. The goal is to get him clean and hopefully move toward a brighter future. But this is the young and the restless. They are not just going to let him go to a few meetings and be fine. No way. Because the road ahead is literally paved with temptations. And the biggest temptation, or should I say the biggest threat, is his drug dealer. So we have this character, the dealer played by Chris Wenchel, and he is just not taking no for an answer. And I have to say, Chris Wenchel is doing a fantastic job making this guy absolutely terrifying and sleazy at the same time. We saw him in Nick's Nightmare a few episodes ago, right? That horrible fentanyl nightmare where Matt Clark was torturing Nick's mind, and the dealer was right there, pushing the drugs, trying to lure him back into the darkness. Well, the nightmare is bleeding into reality, because this dealer is refusing to let Nick walk away. He wants to force Nick to buy more fentanyl. And fentanyl, you guys, that is not a joke. That is the kind of stuff that ends lives in an instant. Nick knows this. Somewhere in his drug-addled recovering brain, he knows that if he takes that fentanyl, he is probably going to die. But the dealer is relentless. He is pushing and pushing. And that brings us to the massive, massive leaks that just hit social media. And I am telling you, the fans on social media are losing their absolute minds over these behind-the-scenes photos that just leaked. Like, total chaos on Twitter right now. Because these pictures show a completely unhinged Nick Newman. In one of the photos, we see Nick standing over a man who looks exactly like the dealer, Chris Wenchel's character. And Nick looks feral. I mean, he looks like a wild animal that has just been backed into a corner. His clothes are a mess, he is sweating. His face is twisted in this pure, unadulterated rage. But it's what is happening on the ground that has everyone freaking out. The dealer is on the floor. He is completely motionless. He has clearly been beaten down, and Nick is just standing over him, breathing heavy, looking like he just crossed a line that he can never, ever uncross. And the spoilers are hinting that Nick is going to send a very, very strong message to force this guy to back off. But did he go too far? Did he actually kill him? Let's just zoom out and think about this for a second. Why would Nick snap like this? I mean, yes, he is going through withdrawals. And yes, his emotions are all over the place. But Nick usually tries to keep his temper in check, unless someone he loves is threatened. So the running theory right now, and honestly it makes the most sense, is that the dealer doesn't just threaten Nick. What if he goes after someone close to him? What if he targets Marie? Because Marie is an addict too. We saw them doing drugs together in that motel. What if the dealer realizes that Nick is trying to cut him off, so he goes to Marie and tries to use her to get to Nick? Or worse, what if he actually supplies Marie with a bad batch of fentanyl just to send Nick a message? If Nick finds out that this dealer is preying on Marie, or manipulating her, or putting her life in danger just to drag Nick back into the gutter, yeah, Nick is going to snap. He is going to completely lose it. And maybe I'm being too harsh on the writers here, but sometimes they rely a bit too much on the protective Newman male trope. Okay, that sounded dramatic, but you get what I mean. Victor does it, Adam does it, and now Nick is doing it. But honestly, in this context, it works. It really works. Because Nick is so raw right now, his nerves are shot. He has no emotional regulation because his brain is screaming for drugs. So when this dealer pushes him, when he threatens Nick's fragile attempt at recovery, Nick doesn't just push back, he explodes. The leaked photos show Nick literally attacking the guy, and it looks like a brutal beatdown. The dealer is on the ground, completely motionless. And you have to wonder, is he unconscious, or is he dead? Because if Nick Newman just beat his drug dealer to death in a dingy alley or a motel parking lot, what happens next? This could turn into a massive life-or-death legal crisis for Nick. We are talking about a potential murder charge, or, at the very least, aggravated assault. And who is going to save him? Victor? You know Victor Newman is going to get involved if his son is facing prison time for killing a drug dealer. Victor would probably hire a cleaner to roll the body up in a carpet and bury it out in the woods somewhere. I mean, we have seen Victor do worse to protect his family, but Nick has always been the one who judges Victor for that kind of stuff. Nick is the one who always says, "I don't want your dirty money, Dad. I don't want your criminal cover-ups." But what if Nick has no choice? What if he is standing there, staring at a dead body, his knuckles bleeding, completely out of his mind on adrenaline and withdrawal, and the only person he can call is his father? That would be such a poetic, tragic, full-circle moment for their relationship. Nick finally becoming the monster he always accused Victor of being. I get chills thinking about the acting we are going to get from Joshua Morrow and Eric Braeden if this happens. And let's talk about the cinematography for a second, because the leaks mentioned something really interesting. The camera crew was reportedly capturing POV shots from the ground, like, from the perspective of the dealer looking up at Nick. That is going to be so intense. Imagine seeing Nick Newman, this guy who used to run a coffee shop and smile all the time, looking down at the camera like a literal grim reaper. The lighting is probably going to be all dark and gritty, casting shadows over his face. The show is really promising some incredible visuals with this confrontation, and I am here for it. I am so here for it. But I also have to ask, what were they thinking with this pacing? Because just last week, Nick was in rehab, then he breaks out, then he is in a motel, and now he is potentially committing manslaughter? It is moving so fast. Sometimes I wish they would just let a storyline breathe, you know? Let us sit with Nick in his misery for a minute before we escalate to murder. But I guess they want to keep the ratings up, and violence definitely gets people talking. And the fans on social media are completely divided. Half of them are cheering Nick on, saying that the dealer deserves it for pushing fentanyl. And the other half are saying that they are ruining Nick's character. They are saying that Nick is becoming too dark, too much like Adam. But you guys, isn't that the whole point? Addiction doesn't care if you are the good son. Addiction strips away all your morals, all your boundaries, and leaves you desperate. Nick is desperate. He is terrified of relapsing, he is terrified of the dealer, and fear makes people do terrible, violent things. So let's say the dealer is just unconscious. Let's say he isn't dead. Nick still beat him to a pulp. What happens when the guy wakes up? He is not just going to let it go. He is a drug dealer. He has connections. He is going to come after Nick with a vengeance. He might come after Sharon, or Noah, or Summer. And that is Nick's worst nightmare. Remember the fentanyl nightmare he had? His biggest fear is his addiction destroying his family. If his violence brings a drug cartel down on the Newman family, Nick will never forgive himself. He will completely shatter. And what about Marie? Where does she fit into all of this? She was in the motel with him. If the dealer was targeting her, and Nick stepped in to save her, does that make Nick a hero in her eyes? Or does it terrify her? Because seeing the guy you just slept with beat someone half to death is a pretty big red flag, even for a fellow addict. Maybe Marie runs away. Maybe she steals Nick's wallet and runs while he is distracted with the body. Who knows? The possibilities are endless. And honestly, I am just typing this all out as fast as I can because my brain is spinning with theories. And I keep thinking about Nikki. Nikki is already putting on this brave face, pretending everything is fine while she is secretly agonizing over Nick's relapse. Imagine if she finds out that Nick is now involved in a violent crime. Nikki has been through so much. She just got her eyesight back, she is trying to rebuild her marriage with Victor, and now her son is out here acting like a street thug. It is going to break her heart. Melody Thomas Scott is going to act the absolute house down when Nikki finds out. We are going to need tissues, you guys. Lots of tissues. But seriously, who actually believes this is going to end well? When has a storyline about a rich guy beating up his drug dealer ever ended with a neat little bow? Never. There are going to be consequences. Maybe Christine Blair gets involved. She is always looking for a reason to go after the Newmans. If she gets wind that Nick assaulted someone, she will throw the book at him. And then Michael Baldwin will have to step in, and it will be this whole massive legal circus. Or maybe, just maybe, Adam is the one who finds Nick. Think about it. Adam has been trying to track Nick down. What if Adam walks into that alley or that motel parking lot right after Nick delivers the final blow? Adam knows how to handle messy situations. Adam has been in the dark underworld of Vegas. He knows how to deal with shady guys like this dealer. What if Adam helps Nick cover it up? That would bond the brothers in a way we haven't seen in years. A dark, twisted, toxic bond built on a shared secret. I don't know if the writers are smart enough to go there, but I really hope they do. Because when you think about the bigger pattern of this show, they always love to pit Nick and Adam against each other. But recently, Adam has been the one trying to save Nick. It is this total role reversal. Adam is the stable one. Well, mostly stable, if you ignore the Chelsea and Sally drama, and Nick is the absolute train wreck. Having Adam cover up Nick's crime would be the ultimate irony. And let's talk about the fentanyl aspect again. The show is really leaning into the opioid crisis, which is a very real, very heavy topic. Fentanyl is terrifying. The fact that the dealer is trying to force Nick to buy it shows just how evil this character is. He doesn't care if Nick dies. He just wants his money and his control. So in a way, you can't really blame Nick for snapping. When someone is literally trying to hand you a death sentence, self-defense takes on a whole new meaning. But beating a guy until he is motionless on the ground, that crosses the line from self-defense to pure vengeance. I can't wait to see these episodes play out. The leaked photos are one thing, but seeing the actual performance is going to be something else. Joshua Morrow is going to bring so much intensity to this. We have seen him play grief, we have seen him play anger, but we haven't really seen him play this kind of feral, drug-fueled desperation before. It is a whole new layer to Nick Newman. And, honestly, I hope they don't rush the aftermath. If Nick thinks he killed a guy, I want to see the guilt eat him alive. I want to see him hallucinating the dealer, just like he hallucinated Matt Clark. I want to see him jumping at shadows, terrified that the police are going to knock on his door at any second. They need to milk the psychological horror of this situation for all it is worth. Don't just have Victor wave a magic wand and make it disappear in 2 episodes. Let Nick suffer the consequences of his actions. Okay, I feel like I am rambling now, but I am just so fired up about this. The Young and the Restless has been a bit slow lately, with all the corporate boardroom drama like, we get it, Billy wants Chancellor, Kane is mad, whatever, but this Nick storyline, this is gritty, emotional, high-stakes soap opera gold. This is the kind of stuff that keeps us tuning in day after day. So to wrap this all up, because my fingers are starting to cramp from typing so fast, Nick is in deep, deep trouble. He is trying to get clean, but the dealer won't let him. The dealer pushes too hard, maybe threatens Marie or someone else, and Nick completely loses his mind. A brutal beatdown ensues, leaving the dealer motionless on the ground. We are getting amazing POV camera angles, we are getting unhinged, Joshua Morrow, and we are getting a potential murder mystery or cover-up that is going to drag the whole Newman family into the mud. What do you guys think? Is the dealer dead? Is Victor going to cover it up? Is Marie going to betray Nick? Let me know all your thoughts, theories, and rants in the comments. I will be reading all of them, and probably agreeing with most of them. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and I will see you all in the next update, when we inevitably find out that things have gotten even worse for poor Nick Newman. Stay safe out there, and keep watching the drama unfold.